Brian Daboll does not end up as the next Bills head coach. Daboll is expected to be the next Titans offensive coordinator. Elsewhere in the NFL, the Los Angeles Chargers are bringing in former Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel to be the team's next offensive coordinator. Here in Nashville, the undefeated Vandy women's basketball team has announced a home-and-home series for the 2027-28 and 28-29 season with the Yukon Huskies. In the world of baseball, Cody Bellinger and the New York Yankees are in agreement on a 5-year, $162.5 million deal. There are options for opt-outs after the second and third season in the deal, with no trade clause. This evening at Brewhouse 100, Cole Smith and Michael McCarron will be the guests on Smashville Live. Radio broadcast begins at 6, right here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
For more, log on to thegamenashville.com. Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan.
30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. It's the George Plaster Show, featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famers Kelly Holcomb and young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the George Plaster Show. George is going to get the show started. I'm just going to intro us real quick. George is currently sitting in traffic, so while we wait to get him up on the phone line, I believe we're going to get to him soon. Let's go ahead and bring up Kelly Holcomb out in Murfreesboro. As you see George's empty chair there. Kelly, how we doing?
What's up, Parker? How much is George going to get fined, do we think?
I don't know, but I also want to throw in some push-ups in there. How many push-ups do you think George can do?
I don't know about that, man. My wife and my son had to go down to for his rehab with his shoulder this morning, and she said traffic was awful. So,
yeah,
you know, when weather gets a little crazy and it starts raining, people get crazy.
Yeah, he said there was some sort of wreck coming into the Ford Ice Center, which is where we're at today. George, can you hear us?
Yeah, what I've had to do is loop around, kind of come in from the backside a little bit. I'm actually pretty close to the parking lot. I know this is exciting.
Very exciting. Well, we're glad that you're almost here. How bad was the wreck?
I don't know. I really couldn't see it. When people started turning around and going the other way, I knew I was in trouble.
Yeah.
By the way, has anybody been to a grocery store? Oh my God.
Oh yeah, I was trying to go to Costco, which Costco's right down the street from my house, and I could not find a park in the parking lot's thousands, and I could not find a parking spot. And I told my wife, I said, I'm not going in there, not doing it.
Everyone wants their milk sandwiches. You know how it goes.
Well, it is Panic City.
Panic City.
And
Crazy.
And the other thing is, now the weather people, they're not waffling. They're telling us we're going to get it, but they're now starting to throw in the, we're going to get a lot of ice and freezing rain, and therefore we don't know how much snow, but they are sticking to the we're going to get it.
Watch. We're going to get 80 degrees this weekend. Just watch.
Well, snow's one thing, but when you start talking about ice and you just talk about 1/10 of an inch of ice, I mean, that's treacherous, man. I can't stand ice.
How funny would it be, though, if after this whole week that they have set this up, if we got absolutely nothing?
Would you put it past a meteorologist?
I've always said it, though. That's the best job in the world, to be a meteorologist, because you don't have to get it right. Nobody gets upset.
Oh, I don't know. This time around, everybody will think it was sponsored by Kroger.
The great winter storm of 2026, brought to you by Kroger.
Nice.
Well,
Good for your
guys,
sales.
I have an exciting update today. Lots of stuff to get into. George, are you ready?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I'm listening.
While you're sitting in your car, too, you get to listen to my update. Okay, so Mike McDaniel has taken the offensive coordinator job with the LA Chargers. Now, he was everyone's perceived favorite to follow Saleh to Nashville, but earlier today, Diana Rossini of The Athletic put out that if Brian Daboll does not get the head coaching job with the Bills, which he is interviewing for, that he will follow Saleh to Nashville and be the offensive coordinator.
Well,
is there a big possibility? Go ahead, George. Sorry.
If Diana Rossini reports it, I buy it. Her stuff is terrific.
Is he the leading candidate for the Buffalo Bills job, or do we know?
Well, what I do know is that he's interviewing and Joe Brady is interviewing, and they have to get somebody else too to fulfill the Rooney Rule. So those are the only two that I've seen.
And I heard today from a source that said that he is the odds-on favorite to get the Buffalo Bills job. So I don't know. Somebody that was in the building. There's not many people in the building anymore since I was there, but there's still some. And yeah, they said I'd heard that he was the odds-on favorite. Now, whether that happens, I don't know.
Josh Allen sings his praises, and Terry Pagula, the owner, said today in a press conference that Josh Allen was going to have some input on the decision. So maybe that affects it.
There we go.
By the way, his presser today was pure comedy because basically he talked about the team's decision to draft Keon Coleman in the second round, saying that they got a lot of input from the coaching staff, that they wanted to draft Keon Coleman in the second round, saying that it wasn't the owner's decision, it wasn't the general manager's decision, it was oh my gosh, George is behind me. It was the coaching staff's decision to draft Keon Coleman and not general manager Brandon Beane. Did you have a chance, Kelly, to listen to the presser today or some clips? My God. And then they talked about firing Sean McDermott and what all led to that. And basically the owner just came out and said the Denver loss did it. That was the deal breaker.
Denver loss did it, but at some point there's got to be some accountability by the players. I mean, I understand that, but I've gone over the stats. I went over them yesterday. The dude was there for 9 years. He had 8 playoff appearances. When I was there, they had not been to the playoffs in forever. He had 8 playoff appearances. He went to 2 FC titles, and he won 5 AFC East titles. Like, what else can you do? Like, at some point, the players, you give them the game, but the players have to play. They have to make plays when it boils down to it. And when it comes down to crunch time at the end of the game, you got to make plays because there was plenty of plays to be made, as we've discussed. And so you're going to fire the coach? Really?
And we're going to sit here and act like there weren't 5 turnovers from the offense?
Exactly. I mean, what is he supposed to do that? He can call plays. They can be into the deal with, he can say, hey, Joe Brady, I don't want this play or I want this play, but like he can't hold on to the ball for him. I don't know. It's just, it's irritating to me.
Who are they going to go and get out that's better than McDermott? Or what he did?
I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine.
What this really feels like is when Bud Adams fired Bum Phillips.
Yeah, it does, man. It kind of and he was he was fan favorite, player favorite, and he had won a lot of games there. And in the Earl Campbell years, man, I can remember watching Earl Campbell. Good gracious, that was awesome stuff. But it's just these owners have the power. They got the power of the red pen. They sign the checks. They can do whatever they want because it's their organization. And sometimes I don't understand it. I don't understand the firings, and I definitely don't understand some of the hirings. Like, what are we thinking here? I can see from the outside looking in that guy just can't do it. And then they end up hiring him anyway. I just don't get it.
Some baseball news. Congratulations to Carlos Beltran and Andrew Jones, who are being inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in July 26th in Cooperstown, New York. Long overdue, right, George?
I don't know that I'm going there. Look, I'm happy for Andrew Jones, but Dale Murphy deserves to be in before Andrew Jones.
Oh, wow.
Just my opinion.
I agree with that, George. With a guy growing up watching TBS as a kid and loving all those guys, yeah, I think Dale Murphy deserves it. You're absolutely right.
And George's favorite team, the New York Yankees, are signing Cody Bellinger to a 5-year, $162.5 million deal. So they finally did something in free agency.
A lot of money.
To the hardwood. Man, the NCAA just continues to take L after L after L. But ex-Alabama forward and current G League player for the Motor City Cruise, Charles Bediako, has sued the NCAA to gain immediate reinstatement to join the Crimson Tide for the rest of this season because the school appealed for his eligibility. He's played 3 seasons in the G League and signed 2 contracts.
This stuff is getting comical. It's literally getting comical. You're gonna have guys 20 years that that have been 20 years out trying to get paid for something. I mean, this is comical.
It's unreal, and it's getting really silly.
The NCAA put out a statement calling for congressional intervention.
Well, they had congressional intervention when they decided to pass the NIL stuff, and the NCAA didn't think that they were going to do that, and they did. So now what do they want? Like, have a plan. Don't let Congress get into it.
More lore, I guess is the right word, has been added to the Darian Mensah situation at Duke. He is not permitted to enter the transfer portal because of the contract, the NIL contract that he signed with the school, and this is being taken to court. So right now he's not permitted to play for another school.
Parker, do you know how much? I'm asking because I don't know. How much has Miami offered him to come down there? Do we know that?
I know they offered Ty Simpson 6.5, and Darian Mensah was making 4 at Duke. So somewhere between there would be my guess.
Because I heard a crazy number is $8 million, and I just don't see that happening.
Oh,
I can't see that. But I don't know. I didn't hear that.
So
it's good to be a quarterback.
Good to be a quarterback. Just I picked the wrong time to do it. Vanderbilt, another loss on the hardwood. They dropped their 3rd straight game to Arkansas last night, 93-68.
Woo! It's a bad one, George.
Bad.
Arkansas looks like the team of the year when they play at Bud Walton Arena.
They had better right their ship soon.
Well, they're at Mississippi State on Saturday, so that'll be their chance.
If they can get down there.
True.
True. Not much better for the Predators. They lost last night to the Buffalo Sabres 5-3. That's their 2nd straight loss.
No, I will change that narrative. So they're down 4-0 early. Look like crap. And in the early part of the season, they'd have gotten beat 8-1, and that place would have been empty in the 3rd period. Last night, they fought back big time, came within about that much of tying the game. No, you don't like to lose, but at least show me some competitive fire. And they did.
That's right. That's what fans want, man. You don't have to win them. Just show that you're going to fight and you're going to give your best effort to win.
And they did last night. And maybe that's what Barry Trotz got when he went on that rant about effing. I need more effing effort out of the players.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he got.
Good for him.
Hasn't Buffalo won like 16 out of their last 20?
Yeah, they've been red hot.
Yeah.
They're also owned by Pagula.
Mm-hmm.
Pagula is he's an interesting bird.
We can leave
Most
it
of
at
these
that.
owners are interesting birds, George.
When you're rich and you're weird, you're eccentric.
That's
When
right.
you're poor and you're weird, you're weird.
That's right.
That's in
That's
reference
true.
to Danny White.
There's no truer statement than that one. I've heard that many times. There's no truer statement than what George just said.
By the way, Diana Rossini tweeted out after the Bills or Pagula's presser today that NFL owners' interviews are better than just normal NFL interviews. And Paul Kaharski tweeted out, "We would never know." Taking a dig at Miss Amy. Have you guys seen the Baker Mayfield tweet? This is my second to last thing.
No.
No?
This is a good one.
It is really good. It's going to add a little spice because there was I've never heard of this guy, but basically he tweeted something about Kevin Stefanski having a dumpster fire in Cleveland within the quarterback room. Baker Mayfield retweeted it, and here's what he said. "Failed is quite the reach, pal. Still waiting on a text/call from him after I got shipped off like a piece of garbage. Can't wait to see you twice a year, coach."
Ooh,
Okay.
nice.
Falcons
there
and
you
Bucks
go.
just got really interesting, didn't it?
Falcon fever,
Yeah.
catch it.
And my last thing, this is just a cool stat that I saw earlier, but Rick Pitino is going for his 900th win as a college basketball coach on Saturday. And guess who he's playing? His son, Richard Pitino.
Who is it? Xavier?
It's Xavier.
Wow.
There you go. Family affair.
Family affair.
But it hadn't always been a family affair.
Probably not.
Sometimes it's gone past the family.
I'm turning my mic off.
Yeah, good move. Are you done? Good. Mike Organ's in the On Deck Circle. He will join us next on the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
At Wilson Bank and Trust, we believe you shouldn't have to choose between personal service and digital solutions. As your local independent bank, we're proud to offer the relationships and trusted service you expect, along with the tools and technology that keep you moving forward. So whether you're growing a business, buying a home, or planning for the future, we're here to help. Because this isn't just where we work, it's where we live too. Wilson Bank and Trust, here to get you there. Member FDIC.
Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com. If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400. 615-292-3400.
ESPN Radio lives here. Your sports live here on ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
We are back. From what I've been told, it's not likely that there will be a press conference involving Robert Saleh until sometime next week. Now, I can't prove that, but that is what I am hearing. Okay, let's say hello to Mike Organ from the Tennessean, who joins us by phone. Mike, thank you as always. What do you think the fan reaction from the seat you sit in is about Saleh?
Well, George, I guess looking at the glass half full, he's not Matt Nagy, and I think that's one thing that fans are happy about. They thought it was going to kind of be just more of the same for the Titans, and that Borgonzi would hire his friend. So it's kind of impressive that Saleh was so impressive in the interview, apparently, that he swayed Borgonzi from everything we can tell. So that's a positive. He's an aggressive guy. He's a hard guy, completely opposite of Callahan. So, I guess, they definitely needed something to be different from that. I don't think anybody's blown away by the hire, but I don't think anybody had that great of expectations because they didn't think that the Titans were capable of luring one of the top available candidates that are out there.
Mike, let's move on to the national title game. Charlie Becker, Father Ryan High School. A lot of different stories out there about him, including one that sounds like when Cignetti got to Indiana that he wasn't all that wild about him and would just as soon have departed as otherwise. What do you hear about him?
Well, I did two stories on Charlie before the national championship game. So I talked to his dad, I talked to his brother who played at Appalachian State, and everybody was leaving Indiana. So I think that had he left, it certainly wouldn't have surprised anybody. His decision to stay, I believe, was because of Shanahan, the offensive coordinator. He liked him, and he liked Charlie, and I think Charlie has always had faith in himself, even when others didn't. And that was the case for whatever reason since his high school career. He somehow got tagged a 3-star, which just doesn't make sense because he has all the measurables that the people who hand out those stars go for. He was big, 6'3" in high school, 6'4" now. He was fast, had been clocked at a 4.2 in the 40 and consistently ran 4.3, 4.4s. And he had great pass catching ability. And I don't know what more he needed to do. He played at Father Ryan, which played great competition. So yeah, I just don't know how he got stuck with that 3-star. And as a result, no power forwards went after him hardly. Vanderbilt offered him, Northwestern offered him, and Iowa offered him in Indiana. And, I think it was something Charlie was used to. And he was like, well, I'm going to have to prove myself if I leave Indiana. So I'm just going to stay here and prove myself here. And, man, did he prove himself. And it didn't go quickly. He didn't play much his freshman year, and he didn't play much this year until after the Penn State game. And when Surratt got hurt, they were forced to put Charlie out there. And, man, did he answer the bell once he got his opportunity. He's a unique receiver. I think he deceives defensive backs with his speed, and they're concerned with keeping up with him. And then he'll almost stop and catch when the ball, when Mendoza would throw to a spot and leave the defender just helpless out there. We saw that in the Big Ten championship game, and we saw it in the championship game.
Yeah, no Charlie Becker would have equaled no national title for Indiana. Speaking of which, do you think this is the beginning of the little guy starting to be a power, or is this just a one-off?
It may be a one-off, George. It depends on what the NCAA is able to do, and it has very limited power now. We all know that. We talk about that here most weeks that I'm on with you. If teams can, if players can continue to play into their mid-20s, which is the case, then this would not be a one-off. That Cignetti went that route. He didn't go after the stars, the 4 and 5 stars. He went after experience, and he wanted national championship undefeated. So it worked, but everybody can't do that. Just like everybody can't load up with stars, everybody can't go out and just load up with experienced players who are definitely grown men by now. So I don't think it can be sustained. I don't think this is a model that can be sustained.
A little more local. Greg Williams is a former Titans defensive coordinator, later a head coach with the Buffalo Bills, came back to Nashville as TSU's defensive coordinator, and now has been fired there. Mike, what do you know about it? What went on?
All I know is that the one thing I know for sure, nobody can argue, and this isn't sourced or anything, was that Tennessee State was very bad this year, except for in one area. They were good on defense, really good on defense. Number 2 in the OVC, number 29 nationally. They were good as a total defense. They were good as a scoring defense. Offensively, they were almost the worst in the country. It had to be something beyond the way that he got his players to perform. And the only thing that I've been told is that the communication between him and some of the players wasn't what they wanted. I say Reggie Barlow, but I don't know if it was Reggie, because Reggie and Greg are good friends. I can't imagine Greg surprising Reggie with what he did, but there had to be something beyond the performance, because he did what he needed to do, and he did what nobody else on the team did, or on the staff did. He got his players to play well. And that's not easy when you're out there on the field as much as they were, because they couldn't convert first downs. So they played more than any other defense in the league, and yet they were the second best. So I don't know. It doesn't surprise anybody, I don't think, that Greg is gone. And it may have been, I'm sure he didn't put up too much of a ruckus with leaving, because it probably wasn't the fit he had hoped for. He'll go back to the UFL. I'm pretty sure he'll go back to Shannon Harris's team, which won the league, and the Defenders, the DC Defenders, I would expect. And he'll continue his career, and just chalk this up for lesson learned.
Yeah, Kelly.
Mike, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, Kelly. I'm trying to stay warm.
Yeah, everybody's trying to stay warm. Hey, let's get back to Indiana, and this is kind of a strange question I'm about to ask you. How big was Mark Cuban for that school, for that team, for that NIL? Do you know? I mean, it's I just found out about that the other day, and everybody's putting money up. If you're not watching this, everybody's putting the money signs up. But
yeah, he wasn't
Mark
there
Cuban
for moral support. Yeah,
Mark Cuban is the biggest, is the wealthiest alumnus of the Indiana Hoosiers, and he's obviously, he gave $5 million like in 2015. So, like, how big is a guy like that who used to be the majority owner of the Dallas Mavericks? How much did he help this come along for Curt Cignetti and the Indiana Hoosiers?
I think he was huge. I don't even want to say significant. I want to say huge. He did give what you said last year, and then it hasn't been revealed how much he gave this year, but all he would say, and he told this to the Sports Business Journal, was they were a whole lot happier this year than they were last year.
That's right.
So, I've never been given $5 million, so I don't know what it would take me to make me happier. If you gave me $5 again the next year, I'd be happy. But he said they were a whole lot happier. So I'm thinking double maybe. So $15 million in 2 years would go a long way in this age of NIL. And I know this, he got Phil Knight's attention because Phil Knight apparently is coughing up about 7.5 for Dante Moore to return and to pass on a $10 million contract for next year in the NFL as a rookie. So, you know, now, Kelly, here's what it is down to. And I tweeted this the other day. It's just whoever's billionaire is more zealous. You're keeping up with the Joneses. In this case, Phil Knight's keeping up with Mark Cuban. So he had to keep his quarterback. So he did whatever it took. And the 7.5 million figures, what I've heard, it could have, I don't know how it couldn't be 10 million because that's what Dante Moore would have made if he'd have gone in the draft and been the number 2 pick, behind Mendoza. So, Cuban has plenty, as you know, he has plenty of money to go around. He can still, you know, maintain what he does elsewhere, including at Vanderbilt, where he's got a daughter who is at Peabody, and I think it's pretty well known that he donates to contributes to Vanderbilt, but I don't know. I think that's on the academic side. I don't think it's athletically. Now he has said publicly that he gives to Indiana and leaves it at the discretion of the athletic director to do with it what he wants.
So that leads me into another question, Mike, and I heard this a couple of years ago when this NIL stuff started heating up. But how long until a guy like a Mark Cuban or you know, get billionaires start giving money to these programs and then it becomes an investment for them? When is these programs going to become their own entities, and then they're going to start getting money back, profit sharing off of these investments that they're making into the program? Like that seems like it's going to be, you know, not too far down the road to me.
Yeah, these guys didn't get wealthy by being stupid. They're smart guys and women that give this kind of money. So at some point, it has to be an investment instead of just a donation. Right now, it's a donation. And that's the struggle for each school, is to sustain what they're doing, because you're not getting back anything back on your investment than getting to go out on the field after the national championship game and hug Charlie Becker like we saw Mark Cuban do. Now, when do they start making money off of it? I think it happens when the Super Conference comes into effect. And the new TV contract is negotiated, and college football becomes what pro football is, and owners in pro football still make money, even though it costs them a lot of money to operate. That's when I think your top donors will start making money, is when their teams start getting payback the way that NFL start making money the way that NFL teams do. When the new contract's negotiated and that they get a share of that, and it's going to be into the multi-billions, then I think that's when top donors will start making money back, return on their investment.
So we've talked about it, and you brought up the Super Conference, which I don't know why I feel this way, but, you know, George and Parker and I talked about it, I think, Monday. But the Big Ten wants to go to 24 teams in the playoffs. And then Greg Sankey says he wants it to go to 16, but he can keep it at 12. But if they go to the 24-team playoff, which I think is crazy, how much longer until we see that Super Conference come about?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. The only delay now are the top guys, the top brass, the Sankeys, and well, there are only a couple of them, 2 or 3 of them. But when they start disagreeing, then that will slow down the speed at which we come to a super conference, I think, unless they find a compromise in between, and that compromise is the super conference. I think it still goes to 16, and I think the Big Ten continues to push for more. But I don't see how they can continue without expanding from where they are now. I think everything is predicated on that. We'll know soon. I think they're gonna vote on it in the next couple of days, if it'll be this next term or if it will take another turn. But you know, I don't know how many we're going to get to before we get to a super conference. but I could see 24 being where we end up at.
And
Mike,
go ahead, Parker.
you got one?
You're good.
So,
Sure,
Mike,
you're good.
I'm sure you saw the story about Charles Bediako, the former Alabama player who is suing the NCAA so that he can come back and play for Alabama this year. And we've seen several college players that have played in the G League come back to college and finish out their eligibility, even though some of them have signed 2 to 3 contracts at the professional ranks. What is the next step from here? How do we stop this from happening?
I don't think that can be stopped. It's been going on. Foreign players have been able to do this. They were professionals, and they were able to come back. So, once this thing got into the courts, Parker, like we've said all along, once it made it all the way to the Supreme Court, all bets are off. And the NCAA loses its power to control anything pretty much, because now everything has a precedent set, and it goes, before it goes to Congress, goes to whatever. Once it got out of the hands of the NCAA, which did not handle it properly, and it was going to inevitably do anyways, then I don't see there's any stopping it. And now the NCAA finds itself pleading with Congress and lawmakers to step in and do what they could do but cannot do any longer. And lawmakers and Congress, the courts, they don't know what they're doing. They're just going to go by, every person has the right to pursue, to try to make as much money as they possibly can. And when you have that blanket you throw that kind of blanket over everything, it kind of rules out everything else. Nothing else matters. Doesn't matter what you've done in the past. Nobody can tell you that you can't go to another TV station or radio station. I don't know why you'd want to, sitting there with George Plaster, the legend. But if you wanted to, then nobody can tell you. It doesn't matter what you did before. Is that you were in charge of this at another place, or you made this X amount of money with George Plaster, which I'm for sure is a fortune.
Pretty penny.
Go do it elsewhere.
So I kind of look at this in 2 different ways. One, I don't like it, and I'm sure most of the people don't like that G League players are coming back to college and playing basketball games in the regular season. But also, too, the NCAA keeps getting sued, and they keep getting taken to court and losing. So does this further lead to their demise? And I've also seen the idea thrown around that conferences are just going to start governing themselves. Do you see that as a legit possibility?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sure do. And, amateurism, that's what it's all based on. The NCAA was trying to keep the amateur status that it had. And that's what it always fell back on. Well, if you've made money here, then you're not an amateur anymore. Somebody paid you for a poster of your likeness. Well, then you made money, so you can't perform in this league anymore. Well, that's over with. There's no amateurism involved in NCAA. The NCAA is no longer an amateur league, as everybody knows. People get paid, and they get paid a whole lot of money to play on Saturdays, just like they do on Sundays. So with that being said, then the NCAA kind of has lost its leverage and its foundation. So the other conference, like you said, we see players challenging now. We see schools challenging, like Tennessee did. And that's what's going to be next, is conferences rising up and saying, look, we don't have to do what you say. You don't have any power anymore.
And I got one last one for you. How concerning is it that Vanderbilt has dropped their last 3 games?
Extremely, and it's so disappointing, and it's easy to point to. They're just, I hesitate to say they're not big enough, because they do have height and size, but they can't rebound. And they're one and done so many times down. And once you get in the SEC, you can't be one and done. You got to get some second chances and some third chances, especially when you're throwing up 3-pointers like they do. So yeah, it's disappointing. I don't think that their pre-SEC schedule prepared them for what they're facing now. I think they shot the ball better. They were a better offensive team in the preseason against some lesser opponents. So, now instead of being one of the better teams in the conference, I think we're looking at a team that is probably right there in the middle, along with everybody behind Florida. A lot of teams, not everybody, but a lot of teams behind Florida.
I guess I got one more too. The Darian Mensah situation at Duke. How do you think this ends up playing out? Do you think Duke's going to keep him and win in court, or do you think he's going to be able to transfer?
I think he'll be able to transfer. I know I'm so predictable. I fall back on this every time. But once it gets to that point, it's just going to be so hard to enforce the rules that were in place. And once it makes it to court, and that's nobody's fault, but the NCAA, they let it get to this point, then I think he's able to transfer.
You done?
I'm done.
Good. I mean, I didn't mean good.
No, that's what you meant.
No, it isn't what I meant. you would have known if I'd meant it. Mike,
good job.
Do what?
You meant good job.
Yes, absolutely.
Exactly.
Well done, Mike. Yeah. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you, George.
Mike, go enjoy some orange chicken. You deserve it.
I'm going to get some orange chicken. The line won't be long today, Parker, because everybody's out getting milk and bread instead.
Yeah, there's the grocery store. Okay, after the break, we're going to pick up on Kelly's super conference or super conferences, because there has been a huge change that you haven't even thought about. This is the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Smashville hockey. Around here, it can sound like a language of its own. But hey, if you can pronounce Demumbrian, then names like Yossi, Shea, and Marchessault will roll right off the tongue. Nashville Predators, only in Smashville.
Sports and Social at Green Hills Mall is the new home for our Football Night in Nashville promotion. Their food is terrific. Their TV setup looks like a racing sports book in Vegas. And if you're a sports fan, you can't beat it. Starting September the 4th, we'll broadcast from Sports and Social every Thursday night. There's Pop-A-Shot, great football, and the chance to win a beautiful Mikey's Motors golf cart. See you at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall. Here's Officer Garen Hoskins for the Metro Nashville Police Department.
The Metro Nashville Police Department is on the forefront of policing in this century, and I'm glad I'm a part of it. I'm glad I get to find other good officers, other future good officers. And if you're watching today, or you yourself or someone you happen to know is interested, join MNPD.com. Feel free to reach out to us, because we need good officers, and it's a great city to work for.
You've heard me talk about the putting zone. Well, guess what? It's now open, and it offers a revolutionary indoor golf experience featuring state-of-the-art putting surfaces designed to replicate real-world course conditions. It allows players of all skill levels to practice, compete in tournaments, and connect year-round. Go by and see them at 3040 Sidco Drive and tell them Plaz sent you. Featuring state-of-the-art putting surfaces designed to replicate real-world course conditions. It allows players of all skill levels to practice, compete in tournaments, and connect year-round. Go by and see them at 3040 Sidco Drive and tell them Plaz sent you.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Okay, we are back. Kelly, super conferences.
Yeah.
5 years ago, you had kind of the first out in the public discussion about it right around COVID. At the time, Vandy would have been put in the not going to make it list.
Yes.
And I'm here to tell you that 5 years later, it's not even discussable. Vandy's in.
I tend to agree with you, George. After the year that they had, the best season that a Vanderbilt Commodore football team ever had, it was kind of unimpressive in the bowl game, obviously. But, I think that they've hit on something. Clark Lee, you got to give it to him. We have him on, and he's such a likable guy. And he came back because he went to school here. He knew the pitfalls. He knew the surroundings of what was going on at his former school, and he wanted to try to change it. And to me, he has. I hope he can keep it up. I hope they can keep it up. That's what everybody wants to see. I want to see it. George, you want to see it. Parker, everybody wants to see, can he duplicate what he did, and can they still be competitive? They've got to go out and they've got to find another guy like Diego Pavia. But I really think that Jerry Kill, Tim Beck, those guys know what they're doing. They can call a game. Obviously, Clark Lee made his living on the defensive side of the ball, and they were better last year. They were good, and now they've gotten to where used to you could say, well, this Vanderbilt team doesn't look like the rest of the SEC, but that's not true anymore. They do, and they've got money in the NIL, and they're giving it to people. They've got the kid from Nashville Christian, Jared Curtis. It's going to be interesting to see how he pans out because nobody truly knows. He was great in high school. He's got a great arm. But until the live bullets come from other SEC schools, it's a little bit, and that's why I just like if I'm a kid, like if I'm Will Muschamp's son, or if I'm the other kids in the quarterback room, Mike even said it a couple of weeks ago. They've given that kid, it seems like, the keys to the Cadillac because they're paying him the money. So how is that going to work out? If they start him as a freshman, he's going to go through growing pains. That's just part of it. How is that going to work this year with the Vanderbilt Commodores? But I think Clark Lee has got it to a point where now people know that it can be done. Kirk Cignetti just did it at a school that was the second losingest college program of all time. And he won a national championship in football in 2 years. So Clark Lee wasn't on that kind of rise, but Clark Lee's got this place that nobody, including you, George, me, anybody that said that was what going to happen, he's got it to a place where nobody thought it could.
So let me get really specific. What I'm saying is if the decision were made today about super conferences, there's absolutely no doubt. Now, 2, 3, 5 years from now, who knows? Because we don't know if it's sustainable. But I can remember back in 2000, I want to say 16, David Williams, the late David Williams, put it out there that stadium improvement was still 2 to 3 years away from being discussed. And I remember I went off on a show and I was like, what the hell? This place is a dump.
Yeah.
And at that point, if there had been a super conference, they deserved to get bounced. Now they have turned that dilapidated dump into something pretty nice, probably way nicer than any of us thought it could be. Their programs across the board are doing very well. If the decision had to be made today, they're in. And that's
I agree.
Development.
I totally agree with you, George. And I just want to know, and nobody truly knows this, but what is the number of the super conference? Like I can't say that the Northwesterns and the Purdue's and the Wake Forest and the schools like that, are they going to make it? Like what's going to happen to them? Are they going to have to drop down to Group of 5? What's going to happen to all that? And then who knows? We might be talking right now, and that super conference never come around. I don't think that's the case because I think money's driving everything, and TV contracts are driving everything. But I think you're right. I think Vanderbilt is in with what they've done last year, and I think it brought people's attention to Nashville other than, the pro teams here. But now, we talked about it too. Parker brought it up. Can you imagine the Titans with the season they had and the Predators with the season that they started off? Everybody was talking about Vanderbilt football. When has that ever happened in the city of Nashville? It's crazy.
Well, that's where we get into an interesting discussion about something that European soccer does. And I'm not an expert in soccer, but I do know the system that they do, and that's promotion and relegation. So when you have these discussions about, 5 years ago, Vanderbilt wouldn't have been in the conversation. Now they are. Well, we can incorporate this model if we do get super conferences. This wasn't an idea that I was fond of to begin with, but I've kind of grown to like it a little bit, where Northwestern, okay, they may be in the Group of 5, but if they played themselves into the Power 4 and then a Wake Forest could lose their way and they get demoted to Group of 5, that's an idea that I like if we were to go to the super conference model.
Well, who makes that decision?
That's another question that has to be asked. I don't know.
That is a good question to be at. Like, how is that going to come about? And who's going to be able to make those decisions? Because if they kick the NCAA, all these power conferences say, hey, forget the NCAA. I mean, they're not really ruling us anyway. And, then who becomes the governing body of that deal where the super conference is going to be around? There's a lot of questions got to be answered, but I think at some point it's going to come, George. I don't know. I really do, though. And it's funny that my college coach 25 years ago told me that. And all the things that he's told me is coming to fruition. Coach Donnelly I don't know where he got that, where he had that crystal ball, but he said, son, that's going to happen.
So if Vandy has advanced to the point that they're now in, right, that means somebody else has regressed to move out. Who is that?
You talking about in the SEC? You talking about the SEC?
Not necessarily. Just if we're talking about 48 or 64 of the good people and the bad people.
Well, I mean, I think if you're looking at the SEC, I think Mississippi State is awfully. They're hanging off the ledge. Yeah, Kentucky. Yeah. And then I think you have to look at Kentucky.
Come on, wait a minute. Are you really going to believe that a power like they are in basketball isn't going to have a place?
But if we're just talking about football.
We're just talking about football.
Does this apply to football or does this apply to all sports?
Yeah, because the NCAA
is not playing soccer.
Well, Mississippi State has baseball. They won a national championship, 21?
And maybe that gets them in the promised land.
Yeah, see, I don't. Yeah, I just like the Northwesterns of the world, the Purdues of the world, Wake Forest. I don't know, George. I mean,
I'll give you one to think about. If Vandy has moved up, Boston College has moved down.
Mm-hmm.
Football sucks. Basketball sucks.
Yeah, Oregon State.
That's another one.
Washington State. I mean, are they? I just don't know where this is going. Like, do they take all the schools that were in the Power 5 and do they do what Parker's talking about? The soccer leagues do. Is this on a basis of if you're not living up to the standard, then we're going to. We're going to put a watch on you, and then we're going to bring you down if you're not picking your level up, and then we're going to bring somebody else in. Maybe that gives some incentives to the teams that are not in it. I don't know, and the teams that are in it that are at the bottom. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where this is going.
One of the things that Vandy was going to have trouble with was the old toilet bowl stadium.
Well, it ain't
now
that
they
no
have
more.
really fixed that.
Oh, yeah.
They have answered that question.
Yep.
And if today the decision had to be made, they're in.
I can't say that I don't agree with you, George. I really don't.
We should ask Cutcliffe what he thinks.
It's David.
Coach Cutcliffe.
Absolutely. He's going to make a final visit today at 4:00.
I'm going to ask you my question because I really think that the Mark Cubans and the Phil Knights of the world that are giving all this money, they're going to keep giving it because they got bukus of it. But at some point, they're going to say, hey, I'm invested in your program. I want to see some sort of return that I just gave you.
Right, but they get a parking pass.
Okay, yeah. I've
and
got
they
a
get
parking
a souvenir
pass
bobblehead, too.
of George Plaster back in the day.
Yeah.
I think they get a pregame buffet.
Those pregame buffets.
That includes nothing else, though, George. You don't get a skybox. You don't get anything.
No, you get an autographed helmet from the coach.
Okay.
I
really
may not
want
be there
that.
in 3 years because you didn't make the playoff.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of incentives. You get to run through the giant T with Danny White.
No thanks.
I'm sure Tony Basilio would love that.
I just don't go for what other people go for. Like if you gave me a helmet of a coach that signed the helmet, yeah, I'm putting it in a closet and I'm never looking at it again. I'm going to give it to somebody else. I don't care about that stuff.
These are all incentives that the university can use. The parking pass being the most important. Okay, hour number 1 is done. By the way, it sounds like my throat is done, but David Cutcliffe, he's ready and raring to go on the George Plaster Show.
Hey guys, it's Mike from Newton Ford South. When you buy a new car, you deserve complete confidence in your purchase, not just for today, but the road ahead. That's why we offer a lifetime warranty with every new car at absolutely no cost to you. It's the ultimate peace of mind. We cover your engine and transmission for as long as it's yours. No hidden costs, no expiration date based on mileage, just the confidence that the most expensive components of your vehicle are protected. Get the peace of mind you deserve with our lifetime warranty. Find the details and shop our inventory online at newtonfordsouth.com.
My Lowe's Pro Rewards members go big during Lowe's Pro Savings Days. Get member volume discounts plus an extra 5% off eligible orders with a quote of $2,000 or more. Plus, buy more and save more with up to 25% off DWV pipes when you spend $250 or more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 123. Exclusions, more terms and restrictions apply. Can't be combined with any contract or special pricing. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Visit the Pro Desk or Lowe's.com/terms for more details. Subject to change.
In case you missed Chase and Big Joe.
This is Chase and Joe. Here's all you need to call with the impending snow. Call
Mr. Plow. That's my name. That name again is Mr. Plow. Well, John Q Driveway has our number. Now we play the waiting game.
What about Linda Ronstadt? She's going to get with Barney again? The Plow King. Mr. Plow is a loser, and I fear he's a loser. Such a great episode. I love when they're doing the commercial for that, and Mart's like, "Are you insured or something?" And he's like, "Shut up, boy." Oh yeah, it's such a great Simpsons episode. Isn't Barney in the hot tub with Linda Ronstadt? Yes. They're watching Homer's business go down the tubes, and then Homer goes and saves him. Homer goes and saves him. Yeah, like a good friend.
Chase and Big Joe, weekdays at noon. Your sports live here on 102.5 The Game.
Don't miss out on the OVC Men's and Women's Basketball Championships presented by United Fidelity Bank as it returns to the Ford Center in downtown Evansville from March 4th through the 7th. All session tickets are on sale now through each Ohio Valley Conference School's ticket office and at the Ford Center box office. Visit ovcsports.com/Evansville for more details. And be sure to be there to OVC it in person as the first entrance into March Madness and the NCAA tournaments are crowned.
Vanderbilt basketball is bringing the energy this season, and Ponte Law is proud to stand with the black and gold. Every possession, every shot, it takes heart, hustle, and preparation. Just like in the courtroom, Success takes grit. Ponte Law, justice for all. Anchor down.
Busy Bee, yeah, Busy Bee.
Hey guys, Big Joe here from my friends over at Busy Bee. Listen, new year, new friends. Buy one Beehive membership and give one Beehive membership for free to a friend in Middle Tennessee. Look, I am a Beehive member and I would love for you to be one too. Yeah, Beehive membership only from our friends at Busy Bee.
Call 775-7833.
Now, here's your latest Fox 17 Code Red weather report.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobis. Our forecast putting us in the mid to upper 40s later on this afternoon. Scattered rain showers, though, on and off throughout the day and even past sunset. Those will wrap up around midnight with a low of 25.
Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network. In case you missed Chase and Big Joe.
Chase and Joe, here's all you need to call with the impending snow. Call Mr. Plow. That's my name.
yeah.
That name again is Mr. Plow. What about Linda Ronstadt? She's going to give it Barney again? The Plow King. Mr. Plow is a loser, and I fear he's a loser. Great episode.
Chase and Big Joe, weekdays at noon. Your sports live here on 102.5 The Game.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. All around the world on the Game Nashville app. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Time for our stat of the day, brought to you by Apple Collision Centers. With its win on Monday, Indiana became one of few schools to win a national championship in both football and basketball. But what school accomplished this feat in the same year?
Oh, wow.
I think this is one where...
This in my lifetime?
Yes, don't try to outthink the room on this one. You probably know the answer.
Football and basketball.
There are probably people yelling, going, "You idiots." And by the way, those of you yelling may be right. Sometimes it's hard when you're sitting up here and it's not UCLA.
Oh, man,
It's not
golly.
USC.
Is it in the SEC, Parker?
Oh, I want to answer that, but it'll give it away.
What about Florida, George?
Let's go with it. I think you're right.
This is in my lifetime.
Florida.
That a baby.
Yeah.
What was it? 2007, 2008? Oh, it says right there. 2007 national champs in football and basketball.
Kelly, thank you. You bailed me out.
Well, that's the first school that came to my mind. Then you started talking about USC and UCLA, and I'm like, oh boy, you made me start questioning myself. Yeah,
I wasn't even in the right hemisphere. So we're officially into the 4:00 hour. I asked Coach David Cutcliffe to join us for one last show, and what a joy he has been throughout this year. So let's bring him up. David, cannot say thank you enough. Man, it has been a blast.
Enjoyed it. I really have. I enjoyed something that just happened. Parker, true to quarterbacking, looked y'all off. He wasn't giving you that SEC answer. No way was he going to tell you where he was throwing the ball. Well done, Parker. I like that.
I wasn't going to let him read my eyes.
No, I mean, I've seen too much of that on TV, even in the NFL as of late. So no way.
Wow. So, okay, we've just finished the national title game. And I want to ask you a couple of things about the quarterbacks that were in the game. Number one, is Fernando Mendoza a can't miss in the NFL?
George, I don't know that there is such a thing, and I'll tell you why. A lot of any success has to do with the people around you, not just your coaches. Yes, that's a big part of it, but your teammates, the culture. You just can't say that about anyone. We've seen too many can't miss, and often, in my humble opinion, it's not always their fault. And I've had a lot of conversations with my guys through the years about that, about the culture they step into, the coaching, the systems. And then, the NFL means not for long for players and coaches, right? And so you come join a team, and then you're learning 3 different systems over a 6-year period. That doesn't help success. So I'm not trying to evade the answer. I would draft him. Absolutely. He's tough enough. He's extremely accurate. He's got a nice, tight motion. Is he tough? But how he got through that game, and when somebody's early on in that broadcast said the Big 12 will let them play, did they ever?
Man.
I thought it was brutal, the hits he took, and there were at least 2 that were penalties, and one should have been a classic targeting, ejected from the game. But and the difference in the 2 quarterbacks, to jump to your next comparison, is that Carson he could never smell anybody's breath. They really rarely got close. He stood back there at times for eternity. So it was hard to compare those 2 in that game. But and I know Carson. I don't know Mendoza at all. Never met him. Never seen him in person. I've seen Carson many times. Been to many practices at Georgia with him. But they're both really gifted players.
What do you think the NFL thinks about Carson Beck?
I haven't, asked any of my friends. There's always going to be questions raised, in my humble opinion, when a guy seemingly transfers for no real legitimate football reason. I would be asking, and my buddies, I've got GMs that are buddies, and I've got a lot of guys that are in the scouting world. Why? They want to know why. They want to hear where he came from and where he went to. And, the thing that gets you in evaluating quarterbacks is not knowing enough of the off the field circumstances. You can evaluate film all you want. They don't do a very good job, in my humble opinion, the NFL, in watching and really focusing on practices. First place I would do when I go in if I'm a pro scout, I'm going to go straight to the equipment room and ask those guys, don't BS me, man. Now tell me what kind of dude this guy is. Okay? Because they're not good liars. That's the most truthful people I knew in all my career. They're not. And, if they're lying, they're going to be one of those that's going to have a meter going off. Their eyes are going to go back and forth 100 million times. So you'll get the truth. And I've never had anybody in all my career, I would always check. Did anybody ask y'all anything? No. I'd go to the trainer. I'd go to the strength coach. I'd go everywhere in that building before I ever even went and talked to a coach. So anyway, that's my philosophy. And it'll be interesting to see what unfolds in this particular draft at quarterback.
So we're all sitting here sort of saying, man, this Indiana thing is a movie. Whether it's Indiana, Duke, Vandy, Kansas State, Tulane, they've risen out of the ashes. but you know more about the Indiana job than a lot of people do.
Yep.
What level of miracle is that this man has pulled off?
It's absolutely amazing. He knows this, and you wouldn't have been able to do it in an era where there wasn't a portal. You had, this large number that came with him. In Indiana will always be to some degree a developmental program, and his coordinators have moved along with him every step. His strength staff, etc. I think he just lost his strength coach, but all of that helps. Continuity helps develop standards. And then they went out and did a good job, obviously, in the portal of taking people that were their kind of folks. I don't know his process of evaluation. I knew what mine was, and you had to adhere to it at a place like Duke, at a place like Indiana. And then, obviously, Mark Cuban and others. In this era, you have to have a financial commitment to some degree. But here's the magic that he did. Because of his continuity, because of the people, because of the standards, they never wavered those standards. To create a team environment and a culture like they did there is amazing. Absolutely amazing. And every little detail had to be covered in these 2 years to create that kind of culture. And I'm sure they're tough on him, and I don't know him well, but it's obvious that he cares about those young people and they care about him. And my insight, believe it or not, that I get from some is John Mellencamp, who's a friend because I coached his son. And he was so fired up, he kept me up half the night. I told him finally, go to bed and write a song. Quit texting me. It is the culture is different, and Indiana. Obviously, there are great things about that university that have always existed, and you had to just bring that culture to football. And bless him, man, he did it. And I'll just be honest, I was pulling hard for him. But I felt like I was worried when the game stayed so close. I thought Miami had more playmakers on the field than Indiana did. And but lo and behold, to me, the block punt was the biggest play that existed in that game. And that's playmaking right there. That's a tough job to get done, is to block a punt. And without that, they don't win. Yes, Mendoza's run was amazing, but when a team plays the kicking game as hard as they play it, and you watch what they're doing, that's culture. The first thing I did in watching an opponent film was watch how they rushed an extra point. Every week, first thing, let me see the extra point rush. If they didn't play that play hard, I knew we had a chance to beat them. I didn't care how talented they were. And you watch Indiana rush an extra point or a field goal. So, it's just those little things. And when I go around and watch games or I go around and watch practices, I watch those very things and zip my lip and never tell the story, George, so you'll never know who does it good or who does it bad.
Oh, I love it. Kelly, I knew when I asked that question, I didn't know how he was going to answer it, but I knew it would be a great answer.
Oh, it always is.
That was a 2-minute clinic right there.
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, that's why we could have him on for 2 hours straight and get his knowledge and wisdom. But I got to ask you this, Coach, and I've asked you this before. But me being a quarterback, Parker being a quarterback, you being a quarterback guru, what do you think the level? Because we've talked about Mendoza and Carson Beck and some of the college kids, and I've talked about it before. And I'm glad that the Moore kid from Oregon came back to school. I wish Ty Simpson would have thought about coming back to school because I think he could have used another year of eligibility in the NCAA to kind of help his self going forward. But what do you think the level of teaching these quarterbacks in college football is right now.
It's not what it needs to be, and I know that from going to practices. I mean, just face it. I've even had private conversations with certain coaches, and I question the habits I see. I can't help myself, okay? And they said, well, Coach, we can't coach like that. If we do, they'll get in the portal. I said, oh, really? They'll get in the portal if you coach them hard and you coach every detail. Yeah. I said, well, then let them go. How many national championships have you won? Jeez. You know, that's real, Kelly, what I'm telling you in private conversations there. And, you know, it's not okay. And I think I've said this on air before, and Peyton and I talk about this a lot. It's never enough to teach how to do it and what to do. You have to teach why. They need to understand the why. If you don't know why you're making a decision, if you don't know why this is what you should be doing, you're not going to consistently do it. And that's a real popular question. I used to tell our coaches at Duke, I said, we got a lot of smart guys, and they're going to ask you, this generation's going to say, do this, and they're going to say, why? Well, you have the answer ready. And if they say it too many times, kick their rear ends out of the room, you know. But it's the truth. I mean, you really do better from an understanding why we have to do things a certain way. It's so critical. And again, I'm not sure coaches are afraid to give all their secrets playing against that same young man next year. You know, it would bother me. I'd have to think about that a little bit, because I threw my heart and soul into coaching every young man I ever coached and knew I was going to be with them hopefully 4 or 5 years. What a great building time of relationship that is. And, you know, trust and discipline, to me, are the two biggest elements that exist in a football program. And that's built over time, which we're not seeing. So if they don't trust you, they may be coaching great, but the young man's not playing like he's being coached, put it that way.
And that's kind of a sad situation to me, and I think it's going to start showing up in the NFL. It's already showing up a little bit, but let me ask you this, because y'all talked about, and I told these guys I was going to ask you this question, but you brought up Mark Cuban. I brought up Mark Cuban with our last guest. You know, you got the Mark Cubans of the world and the Phil Knights of the world and the Haslam's of the world giving all this money, and they made their money because they're smart people. And they're giving a lot of money to these universities, and I'm sure it's not much to them because they've got so much of it. But at some point, you know, maybe when they go to this super conference, if we do, but at some point they're going to be, it seems like these schools are going to have to become their own entities. And it seems like that these people that are investing in this stuff are going to want some, you know, some of their returns back. Do you think that'll ever happen?
David, I told Kelly that they'll get a parking pass.
That's not working anymore, George. You know, most of the time I can get a parking pass, and they're not getting a dime from me. But you know,
that's what I told him.
Kelly, that's a great question. I have been in meetings where that very subject has come up. Ownership, when everybody is involved, and I don't fault anyone, and I don't have the answer. College athletics is expensive to run. Okay. I don't care what anybody thinks about ticket prices or concessions or, you know, season tickets. And it's amazingly expensive. So without the television influence, et cetera, you don't even come close to making it. So, you know, could ownership, as we professionalize this product called college athletics, maybe. I wouldn't rule that out. I really wouldn't. You know, there are people, I'm sure, looking at this at the dollar value and return run like a company. Now, what I worry about, what are they going to be interested in? Are they going to be interested in soccer or track and fit? No. it's football first because that's where the big money is, and then there may be some interest in basketball. That's the part of that bothers me the most. These are young people living out their dreams in all sports. And what we've done to monetize it all, and I think it did start with coaches' salaries. People started seeing that escalate. Not mine so much, but others. And then it, when people see that, like, good gosh, man, what's going on in that world? People want some of that money. And if you'll watch and track that, that was the beginning, and that was the beginning of people in the roles of leadership saying, we're not losing this guy. I'm not going to hear our alumni stop giving to the university because we lose this guy. So that escalated those salaries, and then when people see money, they go after it. Think about how many people are making money off of a football player. We're talking 18, sometimes 17, 19 years old. When you become a professional athlete, that's your money. You may have an agent. I was never sold that you had to have an agent. They're not going to get you drafted any higher. Hire a lawyer, pay them a stipend right there, and that's it. End of that relationship. But it's complex. This is what I spend my days. I was in a long meeting today about some of this. There's no easy fix. And I think, it's a matter of you got to clean the whiteboard and say, okay, what are we willing to fight for first? Secondly, no, let me back that up. First, what's right and what's wrong? And then secondly, what are we willing to go to battle for? And how is the best path to do those two things? So I don't know if we'll ever get there. It's hard. There's about a gazillion people involved in this. You realize that? It's not 32 owners and Roger Goodell and a small staff. This is a boatload of people involved in all of this.
So, Coach, let me ask you this one more question, and this is kind of this is another sad situation, and it pertains to basketball, but it could pertain just as easily to football. But I don't know if you've kept up with it, but there were kids that were indicted last week on sports betting and betting of games and things like that. Like it was smaller schools, New Orleans, Tulane. There was a bunch of them. George read off the other day. But what is your take on that? Because that's kind of a scary deal, and I've wondered, with all this betting that's come into major college sports, it's been around forever, but with all the betting stuff that's going on now, and it used to be taboo to have the NFL in Las Vegas. Now they got a team in Las Vegas, and they've had a Super Bowl in Las Vegas, and they wanted to stay as far away from Las Vegas as it could. But then you get this article about these kids that get indicted for betting on games. What are your thoughts?
Well, you hit one of my pet peeves. A while back, the NCAA Council approved athletes and coaches being able to bet on pro sports without penalty, and they rescinded it. I sent a nice long email on that one. I don't like that our television partners advertise gambling sites on broadcast. Think about that. The argument is that every state has legalized it. I don't care for that. I'm not a governor, but if I was, my state wouldn't legalize gambling. Lives are broken. That's not something suddenly that's just purely clean. It is not. And if we're not careful, we're going to see more and more plays. All you got to do, Kelly, you know this, you can pick up your phone and bet on every play. It's going to create nightmare activity. And my mother told me when I was 15 to never forget. We didn't have any, and I got in trouble when I told her, yeah, because we don't have any. But she said, David, this is after my dad died in a wreck. She said, don't ever, ever forget that desire for money is the root of all evils. And that's how she said it exactly. And she was absolutely 1,000% accurate after I've lived now to the age of 71. It's a sad thing to watch people let that become their God, and power and money. And so, yeah, I mean, we got to, Kelly hit one right there. And I don't want to go to politicians to fix it because they can't run what they got to run. I'm ready to go to them and fix it. But what's the truth? I mean, it really is. Pay attention to what's happening in D.C. and don't get me started there now.
No.
Anyway, great question. I went by a gentleman who was driving 10 and 2, who's about 85, I could tell. A little too slow on the interstate, and I saw a little sticker on the back window of his car. And I couldn't read it till I got right up by him, and it said, "Just pray." And I didn't know if that meant because he was going to run right into me or if it just in general. And I decided that old fella, he's got it. Instead of whining, David Cutcliffe, instead of complaining, when you get a little bit filled with all of this, just sit down and just pray. That's not a bad path anytime.
Coach, I wanted to ask you about the Darian Mensah situation at Duke because I'm sure you've been following the story. He wants to enter the transfer portal. Miami seems like the option. Duke is suing this is being taken to court. I don't know all the logistics, and he's not able to enter the transfer portal right now. Where do you see this going?
Well, his lawyer today released that they have an injunction so he can, quote, get into the portal. He just can't necessarily go somewhere right now until it plays out. I can't fault Duke other than the fact when you spend that kind of money on one player. But, where does this stop? And they're really not contractual. I mean, when you start talking about contracts with an institution, that doesn't exist. That's not what name, image, and likeness is. Where in there is that illegal? You follow what I'm saying? That the institution itself is paying name, image, and likeness. They're not salaried employees. Not at this point anyway. So it's a complex circumstance. And if everything goes according to how, I don't know if it's Miami, but he'll be playing for somebody else next year would be my guess. I think it's really sad. He was doing really well there. And, everybody I know over there says he's a great youngster, and I'm sure he is. But when you got an agent telling you and a lawyer telling you and your parents telling you, let's take this money, man. Let's take this. It's not just him getting paid. There's a lot of people that money's at stake for. And I'm not bashing agents, lawyers, anybody. I would not do that. There are too many great people in it. But their way to make money is your money. And so they're going to encourage portals. They're going to encourage big pay raises. And that's their business. I mean, how do you fault them doing their business? So it's complex. My blood pressure's been up, George. Can you tell?
I absolutely love it. Kelly, as you can tell, I would like for Coach Cutcliffe to come up to a Preds game later in the season. I am also willing to throw in dinner, but I want you to tell Coach Cutcliffe what you believe that means.
Don't let him take you to White Castle or Crystal, Coach. You gotta have him take you somewhere else because he'll do that. He'll stoop to that level if you allow him.
Dinner is in his car, in other words. It's a drive-through dinner.
That's
No,
right.
no, actually, I will throw this in there. It will be an indoor meal.
Okay. I like that.
That's not Steak and Shake, George.
No,
He doesn't
no,
have
it
a
isn't.
jet up there or anything, does he, that he goes to eat his fast food in? No.
No.
Jet, right?
No,
Hey,
it'll be done right.
in all seriousness, you don't have to buy dinner. I enjoy our friendship, our time together. You three guys are awesome. I don't know if the public realizes that you're doing them a service. A lot of the things that you guys are, that you're heartfelt about, are extremely important for people to pay attention to. This is more than a score of a game. Much, much more. And nobody will ever change my mind on that. Young people's lives are everything. And so it's bigger than a score of a game or a dollar bill sign. That's for sure.
Kelly, I just texted David this, and I want to read it. How a network hasn't hired you is a total mystery to me. You are an incredible interview.
Unbelievable.
Well, thank you. That's very, very kind. Maybe when George owns NBC or one of them, we'll get a shot, Kelly, and we'll see what we can do. What do you think?
Don't hold your breath on that one, Coach, because that's not going to happen anytime soon.
No, I think we've proven that. David, thank you.
Thank you, guys. And again, Happy New Year to all your listeners. And let's all just get better today, right? And just pray.
Amen. Amen.
Yes, sir.
1% better. Just
Thank
1%
you.
better.
Appreciate you. Bye-bye.
Same here. What an absolute teaching clinic he puts on every week. It's incredible.
George, this is sad for me to say, man, but there's not coaches out there like that anymore.
No.
They're not. They're just maybe at lower divisions. Maybe you got older guys like that, but everybody's about what he talked about and what his mama told him about a long time ago. It's all about money. It's all about a stepping stool to another job. It's sad that they don't get coached by David Cutcliffe or a Booch Donnelly or an Alex Robbins, who was my coach. Those guys that love the game, didn't do it for money, but they loved helping young people become successful at what they were doing. And that pains me and that bothers me so bad, because these young kids nowadays, they transfer so much. There's no relationship anymore. It's just sad to me, man. It truly is.
Parker, we need phone calls. It's time for you to sell it.
I'm going to be original this time. Okay.
Please do. Please.
Here's the number that I need you to call. And I need some callers. Okay. I need a lot of them. Blow up the lines, please. I'm not going to beg anymore. Okay. 615-759-9949. Tony from Nolansville, I'd like to hear from you. 615-759-9949.
You're looking for some awesome human beings.
Some fantastic, opinionated human beings.
And I want a new caller today.
That would be nice, too.
We're back in a moment on the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee,
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com. You've heard me talk about the putting zone. Well, guess what? It's now open, and it offers a revolutionary indoor golf experience featuring state-of-the-art putting surfaces designed to replicate real-world course conditions. It allows players of all skill levels to practice, compete in tournaments, and connect year-round. Go by and see them at 3040 Sidco Drive and tell them Plaz sent you. Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com. It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
ESPN Radio lives here. Your sports live here on ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
We are back. Kelly, he didn't get one phone call.
Not one. Way to be energetic, Parker. Way to go.
I'm disappointed because I'm not an idiot. I see that we're getting over 1,000 people listening right now, and not a single one of you wanted to call in. What is this? Good thing we went long with Cutcliffe because it looks like we don't have anything to talk about right now.
Well, we can figure something out.
Okay, by the way, the number to call, as I croak it through here, is 615-759-9949.
Watch. We're going to get like 4 callers right away.
I think it's fair to say, if you call now, will you get in pretty quick? Real quick.
Right away.
So, Kelly, what did you take out of that interview? What's something that really stuck with you?
Just the thought of what I asked him about, and I've asked him this before, but I've asked him about the level of quarterback play in college football now, and I think it's starting to show in the NFL. I really do, and I can remember some guy telling me one time that, Chan Gailey, when he was at the Buffalo Bills, he would have never thought that he would have had to teach a kid how to take a snap under center at the professional level. And I think Coach Cutcliffe is absolutely right. I think people coach scared now. And that was kind of eye-opening when he said that, when he asked that guy, he said, well, they'll enter the transfer portal. Well, I'm an old school guy, just like Coach Cutcliffe is. I'm sure you are too, George. Like, if he's going to transfer because I'm coaching him and I'm doing things the right way and I'm getting on to him a little bit, because everything is not, sunny every day. At some point you're going to have an umbrella for a rainy day. And if you do something bad, I'm not going to pat you on the head and say, Johnny, it's okay. That's fine. I'm not going to do that. And for that coach to say they'll get in the transfer portal, I'm like Coach Cutcliffe. Well, let him get in the transfer portal. If he's going to do that, you don't want him anyway.
That was fantastic.
And I just think that's where football is. I think the NFL is going to start seeing this, and I think it's going to start hurting the NFL, because in college, when you don't have to teach drop back and you don't have to teach stuff from under center, it's a lot easier to teach, and nobody's teaching it. And they just say, guys, run around and make a play, and that's where I think the game is gone, and I don't like where it's going.
Okay, let me take a couple of phone calls. Cruz up in Indiana, welcome.
George, what's going on? And shout out to Parker Kelly, who I'm an IU fan. Pat Coogan getting a national championship. I just wanted to hear you guys talk a little bit about, what this means for the sport going forward, because, I was watching a lot of the Joel Klatt show the last couple of days, and he's been talking about how this might be the most consequential national champion that he's seen in his 43 years here on this earth. What do you guys think that the way that Indiana won this national championship, what that means for college football going forward? Go Hoosiers.
God, who knows?
I just think it's because we talked about it before. All these SEC schools and Big Ten schools, obviously Indiana was one, but he went about it a different way. And he brought his guys from JMU. He brought a bunch of guys, just like the Becker kid from Father Ryan. You know, he didn't even play at the beginning of the season, and then he stepped himself up. The Surratt kid that he brought in, he was an FCS guy. And I can remember somebody saying he doesn't want to go by potential. He goes by what you've done on the field. That's what he looks at, and your production on the field. And if you look at that Indiana, I think their offensive line was really good. Now they had a tough time the other night against the University of Miami, and he even talked about that. They couldn't slow them down. They couldn't get open, but they just fought their way through that thing. But he did it in a different way. You've got all these 5-stars at these SEC schools, and I think they had 8 that were 4 or 5 stars at the University of Indiana, and he did it by looking at film, by watching kids, their production. It's kind of the Julian Edelman effect. Like, nobody wanted Julian Edelman and became one of the best receivers, especially when it comes to Super Bowls of all time. And it's a kid that was told he was undersized, you can't run, you can't play, but yet he played for so long. And he's probably going to be, in the Hall of Fame at some point. But that's who Curt Cignetti went and got. And I don't know if this can be duplicated, because I think he and his staff, which everybody's talked about, has been together for so long, George. They know how to coach the game of football. And talking about David Cutcliffe, I think Curt Cignetti is that guy. I think he's an old school guy that is a relational coach that loves those kids. They know I'm sure he's hard on them. I'm sure he's hard as heck on them. But they know that he cares about them. And what he does is successful. Hey, Google me, I win, baby. And you know what? He did.
I remember there was one specific day that in college we were all lifting in the weight room. I believe it was squat day. And the mood in the room wasn't great. I think we were going to max, and people weren't thinking that they were going to get some super good maxes. Then all of a sudden I remember one kid hit over 500 pounds on the squat. And then all of a sudden all these other people start hitting, well over 450 pounds, 500 pounds, and nobody thought that they were going to get a good max. So I think it's kind of one of these situations where Indiana won a national championship in football and proved that the little guy can do it. And that should give confidence to other schools that, hey, we can do this too, as long as we get the right people in the room, focus on the details, because there's really not some special secret sauce that Curt Cignetti used. He's just detailed about every single thing that he does, and he sets the culture. So it can be done at schools like Minnesota and Rutgers. They just got to get the right people in the room.
But here's another thing that's going to happen, and I know Cruz is out there listening. Here's another thing that it will happen, is now they won a national championship, and they saw how they did it, and these kids in the portal have seen how they did it. It's also great to have a Mark Cuban in your back pocket, which is another thing, but they know that they're going to be taught, and they've got a chance to win at Indiana. And just like, was it Basilio talked about it yesterday, or somebody was talking about that they're the odds-on favorite next year to win the national championship again. Don't know if that's going to happen, but good gracious, like, he's made all these other colleges that hire a coach in their first year. Well, they're saying, well, look what Curt Cignetti did. I just don't know if it can be duplicated, guys. I really don't. Maybe it can. But what he did was miraculous.
Amazing. Steve in Nashville, you're up next.
Hey, y'all. I really do enjoy your show. And I've called in a few times, George. I always say this, but I've been listening to you for, I don't know, way on back in the 90s. When did you get on the air?
Talk show wise, 1989.
Yeah. I've met you a couple of times, but anyway.
Thank you, by the way.
I do enjoy y'all's show, and y'all were fishing for a call. I don't really have much to talk about, but Kelly, I was wondering, have you ever heard of a book called Playing for Pizza?
I have heard of that book. Is that the one with Joe Craddock in it?
I think it is. It's been a while since I read it, but the quarterback is a Cleveland Brown, and it's a great story. It's really short too, and he throws an interception in the Super Bowl, or to get them to the Super Bowl. I forgot what it is in Cleveland, and he's let go, and he winds up going to Italy. and reluctantly playing for a team in Italy. And it's just a really good story about his teammates are all just, people, Italians that just love the game. And apparently there is a football league in Italy that is that's real popular among the people that know the game there.
Not only that, former Titan quarterback Billy Volek, who I've stayed friends with, has been coaching over there.
Well, one of my coaches went over there to coach. Yeah, one of my coaches went over there to coach too. They absolutely love it over there. And this shows you my memory, Steve. My memory's not very good. I got knocked out a bunch of times, but I actually read the book, but can't remember it.
I've done that a lot. I've done that with a lot of things. But Kelly, I graduated from MTSU. I played at Overton. I'm a Nashvilleian, and I was always really proud of you. And, you had such a long career. You were so good. And it just always was cool to me that, you came through when MTSU was not at Division I level. And if you would, just for a second or so, or just how did you know you were going to make it in the NFL? When were people checking you out? And how did you get, I guess some scouts saw you. Were you heavily sought after by NFL teams or just the Browns? But what a wonderful career you had, and I always was just real proud of you. When all those years you were in the NFL.
Steve, let me ask you one question. Have you met Kelly?
I second that question.
No, I haven't.
I didn't think so.
Kelly.
Hey, thank you for calling.
Sure.
Good question.
That was awesome. Steve's about to make me blush, man. I appreciate all that, Steve. But
are you feeling another emotion?
Is he related?
That was awesome. No, he is not. You know what? I just went to MTSU. I was supposed to go on a recruiting visit to Alabama the next week, and I knew that I could go into MTSU and play right off the bat. So I didn't even go to Alabama. Nowadays, I wish I would have at least gone to visit. But I didn't. I just went to MTSU. I just love playing football. I love to compete. I love to kind of lengthen my career. And I was fortunate enough to go, and I played. It took me a week to win the job as a starter. Phil Ironside, which had been there for 2 years and won a lot of games. He had graduated, and then I was against 2 seniors, and man, they were great guys for me. I still talk to them, not much, but I still talk to them. They could have had a lot of animosity towards me, but they helped this young, skinny little punk of a freshman, learn the college game. And not until I became a senior, probably. You had heard some things about, hey, you got a shot, maybe. And I never thought about that stuff. And then my college coach, which was my position coach, Coach Alex Robbins, was the guy that always handled the pro scouts that came in. So he would tell me, he was like, Philadelphia's here to watch you, or San Francisco's here to watch you. Or, I had teams come and watching me every week during training camp. So then I started to think, I'm like, wow, maybe I do have a shot. And that's really the only time. And I thought that was really cool. You would have pro scouts out there watching you practice. And then, you go through that draft process and you go to the combine, you do all that stuff. And then, things happened. And, I was able to spend 13 years up there. So that was a pretty cool deal. I appreciate you calling in. That was awesome that you watched my career. And I don't know if I was one of those heralded guys, but, I made the most of what I had.
Clearly, he has not met you. We'll go to the break on that on the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400. Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall is the new home for our Football Night in Nashville promotion. Their food is terrific. Their TV setup looks like a racing sports book in Vegas. And if you're a sports fan, you can't beat it. Starting September the 4th, we'll broadcast from Sports and Social every Thursday night. There's Pop-A-Shot, great football, and the chance to win a beautiful Mikey's Motors golf cart. See you at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
So during the break, I have been watching over to the left one of the weather forecasts. And Kelly, they're not waffling about are we going to get it. They're saying
how much?
We're going to get it. What they're really starting to not know about is the level of snow, level of ice.
I don't like ice, man. I can remember being up in Buffalo, and it was in October, and we had a 3-foot surprise snow in Buffalo, and my wife, it was so warm outside that my wife and myself, it was 32 degrees, but like it was still warm, and we opened the window and you could hear the transformers because it was early in the year. You're not expecting an October snow. And man, when you start talking about feet of snow and when you start talking about ice and stuff like that, snow is one thing, but ice, you can't control it. Like I can drive in snow, people up north can drive in snow, but when you start talking about ice and start talking about weighing things down, electricity getting turned off, and limbs falling on electric lines, it's not fun, man. I hope that does not happen.
The Parker, they're talking late Friday that this stuff moves in here through like late Sunday.
Yep.
And then has anybody looked at the temps next week?
Yeah, stupidly outrageous.
I didn't realize I was back in Chicago. 28 is the high on Saturday, it says on my app, with a low of 17, and Sunday high of 30.
Yeah, but keep going.
Oh, yeah, it gets down to the single digits, brother.
Woo. I'm not ready for that.
Yeah, and highs in the 20s and lows.
24 and 10.
Yeah. I mean, George, I don't know this. I told my wife the other day, when you get older, I think that's why so many people move to Florida. Because I do not like the cold anymore. Like I'm 52 years old, and I'm like, when I was a kid, everybody down here, we didn't get much snow, but when you had a snow coming, everybody was all excited, and you were a kid, and I'm like, now being from the snow, living in the snow for 13 years, I don't like it, and it's cold, and I don't like the cold.
Well, because it meant you were going to get out of school.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, God, I can remember at BGA this saying, 4 inches in Memphis moving this way. We didn't know if there was 4 inches of snow in Memphis, but it sounded good.
It did.
And
even the threat of snow down here in Tennessee will get you out of school.
Get you out for a week.
Yeah. And I mean, there was nothing better than to know late in the afternoon that you weren't going to school the next day.
Nothing better, man. That was awesome.
You know, I know some schoolmates that tried to figure out how to get in on one of those like snowbird jobs where you call in and you say, Battleground Academy will be closed for a month.
I felt so sorry for those kids in Buffalo, though, because every night at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning, you would hear the snow trucks out. It didn't matter if it snowed a foot, 2 feet. Kids were going to school the next morning because they had the roads clean, man.
Did they ever get out of school?
Well, that 3 foot of snow when it came in October, the snow and salt trucks weren't ready then. So, yeah, they got out a little bit, but they didn't get out much.
You could get out for a winter vortex, I think. Winter oh my gosh, I can't even say
You don't even know.
Vortex.
Yeah, you don't even know what that is.
No, thankfully I never experienced it, but I know the Chicagoans have gotten out because of that.
Parker. So much to learn in short little time.
I'm gonna watch Animal House at some point. I'll come on the air and I'll review it.
Well, this would be a good weekend for that.
It would be a good weekend for that. Maybe even tonight.
No, save it for the weekend. You and the wifey can sit down, cozy fire, watch a little Animal House, a little Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Then you'll be good.
And right in the middle of it, the power will go off.
Yep.
By the way, if my power goes off, I'm coming to somebody's house.
And how exactly will you do that?
That's okay because George, we all know George is the biggest moocher of all time. So
yeah,
it wouldn't bother him, and he's shameless when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah, but the fear of driving in this stuff.
George, you need me to come get you, brother.
If I'm allowed to do this at about 5 miles an hour, I'll make it. But it's when the guy behind me is up my butt that it doesn't go as well. Thank you. Parker, we now prepared to end the show properly.
The only way we know how.
Yeah.
George's heater has cooled off, like the weather. He is 14-6. Missouri did not win last night. It was a great game, though. It was a fantastic game.
Should have won. They were
Should have don't get it done.
They were up with 15 seconds left.
And then what happened?
Bitterly, it went away.
Yes.
Yeah, there was 15 seconds left is what happened.
You're riding the Wildcats tonight?
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering. Okay. LSU, miracle win. They go to Tennessee, pull one out. Man, they've got to be this has got to be the best mental outlook that Kentucky has had in a while, right?
Yeah.
It seemed like it.
Yeah, I would say so.
Take it out on Texas.
Okay.
Hook 'em horns. Hook 'em horns, George.
Hook 'em. Horns up.
Like that.
And George, since we're bringing up Kentucky, would you put Kentucky in a football power conference? If we're just talking about football.
Look, it's cyclical a little bit. 3 years ago, Stoops had it riding high. The answer was yes.
He did.
By the way, I'm 10 seconds away from saying, thank God this is over. See you tomorrow, hopefully.
Eat some lozenges.
Now, here's your latest Fox 17 Code Red weather report.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobitz. Our